Welcome to Series 3 of the Callisto Grand Big Change podcast. In this series, we explore and reveal the personal and professional sides of senior executives. Reaching the top in any field is never straightforward, requiring many years of personal investment and dedication. I'm Mark Harrison, founder of Callisto Grand. Over there in Hungary is my colleague Esther Gabrielle. And today's special guest is Andrzej Targosz, founder and CEO at Eventory, located in Krakow, Poland. Eventory is a market-leading event management software solution, providing a one-stop shop application to support the entire process from organization, scheduling, and marketing, including live event interaction and post-event analysis. This allows you to host better and more meaningful meetings and events, online, in person, hybrid, internally, externally, and for sales, marketing, HR, on one unified platform. I'm very pleased to say that Callisto Grand is a partner of Eventory and has been for quite a few years now. So good afternoon, Andrzej.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. You graduated from the university in Krakow in 2002, and your CV demonstrates a constant career path in the tech space. To kick off, take us through your career from a young graduate to today.
So actually, I think that my career started even before my university. So I started during my high school time because I was really interested with computers and all of the computer science. So my background starts during the high school when I was playing lots of with computers. I'm not saying about just playing games, but also programming and networking. Mm-hmm. And that was actually the moment when all of the internet things started working all around the world, and were a huge demand on networking skills. So that's how I started. So I started during the high school, and I was the lucky one because my parents got a pharmacy shop, and that was the moment when all of the pharmacies should need to replace old-fashioned computers to something which is connected and which is somehow also connected with other servers and things like that. So I was the one who helped them with implementing the first network, and I also started to administrate it. So that was a moment when I started playing with networks and security. And what I realized at the beginning, I realized that I do really like to play with numbers, which means that there's no difference if you play with programming or analyzing code, or in the same time you can analyze, for instance, some data points from economic data points, booking and things like that. So I helped my parents with this company, how to manage it more efficient. So even before 18, I was a part of the group who were managing the small company. Now, after we sold it, I started in a different area. During the early days on university, I started with building internet service provider. We are focused mostly on not on big cities, but on small cities. I think that we were the first company in Poland who started building quite big Wi-Fi, based on Wi-Fi networks. So it was a really nice experience because I started it alone, and after 1 year, few fellows from university and also my colleagues from high school joined me, and we started to building it together. We sold it after a few years, and the lesson that I learned, actually there were two lessons. First one, I want to spend more time with my family, with my wife and first two kids. So that I decided to stop a little bit. And the second lesson was what I found. I found that was in early 2000 were lack of people with networking and security skills. So that's how I decided to start in 2004 a company who do a lot of IT trainings, mostly for young people, for students. we did training with Cisco, with Sun Microsystem, and other well-known vendors. And what I found, another challenge on this year was the problem with how to build the marketing when you do not have enough budget for it, and you have to compete with big players like Accenture. So we decided to focus on building something unique, which is building community around training what we did. So we started organizing events, conference, from BSD systems, from networking to programming. And after a few years, I realized that business with events is much way bigger for us than training. So I decided to spend some time with event business and event industry. We organize lots of conferences like PNOC, like Confidence, which is well-known security event, not only in Poland, but also around Europe. We organize lots of conferences about programming. And I spent several years in this industry. And big tech companies, which has some offices and research centers in Poland, they realized that we know how to organize events, we know how to build community around IT. So they organized together with them some events, and that was the moment when I started to cooperate with bigger brands. And actually, I think that I would continue this journey, but about 7 years ago, I had a problem. Health problem, so I have to struggle with cancer. I was fighting for a while with support from my family and friends, and I won. So I decided, after 2 years of stepping down, I decided to came back and start something new. And what I realized, that I only know 2 things. On this, actually 3 things on this business level. So first of all, I know how to manage people. I know how to organize events, and I'm familiar with tech industry. So I was trying to find what can I do, and when I think how to connect all of this, and that's how I started Eventory. So.
All right. So it all kind of so you said that all your experiences up to that point all kind of came together as you were going through. Up until the point prior to Eventory, was there kind of influencers and mentors and other people that that kind of helped you or inspired you?
I can't find the one person that I can say that inspired me. So I'm trying to learn. Actually, I'm trying to learn from my friends, from my colleagues, definitely people who are partner in business, but also from employers. So I can't find one person, but I believe that you can get best experience when you try something new. So that's actually the reason why I also started to invest small amount of money when I was, 10 years ago, when I was even this event company. So I started to invest do some small investments and start to learn how it works. And I was, I found lots of people who can educate me on the daily basis. So I think that I'm sure that I do not have one mentor, but I can name a lot of them. All of my employees are my mentors, all of my coworkers, friends. I do really like my job. I do really like to talk about it, so I always can hear some advices.
And I think it's important, isn't it, that you, like I said, even though you are the CEO, you recognize that everybody you connect with, whether it's customers or your colleagues, you're not necessarily saying, right, so tell me something new today, but you're just through conversation, you're picking up things and going, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, well, we can. It just kind of happens, doesn't it, really? And you're always open to something that's new and innovative, or a criticism maybe of what you're doing now, and opportunity to do it differently.
Exactly. So that's what you said. It's most important part of it is to have smart people around you, and to be honest, most of people are smart and everybody knows something, but you just have to dig deep to find it. And when you always ask a question with open mind, you always get right answers, and you can always find some advice. So that's what I believe.
And creating the environment where people are comfortable to actually say, come up with an idea or a suggestion, and not think that it's not for somebody to say to you, hey, what do you think about this? You create that kind of environment and atmosphere, don't you? That everybody has good ideas.
That's true. So that's definitely something that inspire me and support me with my career.
Sure. So kind of connected to that, the last year or so, 2020, 2021 has been a very unusual time with the pandemic and everything associated with that. Has that pushed you and Eventory to develop new solutions or strategies? And is there anything that you could specifically use as an example?
I think that no one expect what can happen in 2020. So what we did when everything started, because we were quite ready to organize with our platform also online events, not only the in-person events. So we need some time to adapt our solution for new reality, and that's what we realized. That the most important part with Eventory and events, no matter if it's in-person meetings or online or even hybrid events, the most important part is how to engage attendees and how to keep them focused. So we developed a lot with online events and how we can support our customers with streaming services, but also how to engage attendees during the event. And that was actually the biggest change that we did. So we are not only the all-in-one platform for in-person meetings or events, but also we are all-in-one platform for hybrid events with big focus on engagement and also data analytics, because we believe that that's the next big thing. When imagine a situation that after let's say COVID and after these times, there will be we want to be back with the normal reality when we have different kind of activities, and there will be some restriction with distance. There will be some restriction with other regulations. So it's important to track data, track people, and have them to feel secure. And that's what we want to do.
I think obviously, as they say, data is the new oil, isn't it? Really, it's the big thing. But I think there's a lot of pressure on, if you're a conference organizer or an event organizer and you've got sponsors, obviously the sponsors want to connect with the delegates and the delegates want to connect with each other and so on. So I think I can see ourselves from this experience. So this is very much where I think one of the key areas, isn't it, is making sure that there's more connection between people, and as it's on a digital format, there's no reason why people can't be connected. Even if they're in a conference hall of 1,000 people, you can get people together in one way or the other. Yeah,
exactly. So you can't replace in-person meetings one-to-one. So what you can do, you have to, let's say, reinvent events the new way, and that's what we are trying to do. So I believe that today we are in the situation that companies and executives, they already realized that old-fashioned reality with old-fashioned events, it will never be back in the same way. So you need to start thinking how you need to develop your strategy, how you need to develop your business, and how you want to really connect to your customers. And when I say about customers, I'm not saying just about clients who pay for your service, but I'm saying also about your employers and about everybody partners who is related to your business. So you have to reinvent everything from the beginning.
As we've been talking, one of the things that kind of comes through is you've made reference to it quite a few times. So you're always looking ahead, what's coming next. Even when you were kind of working with your parents in the pharmacy, you were kind of thinking, so where what's the next stage beyond that? And then it was the Cisco training. What comes after that? And now you're doing what you're doing. You're thinking, okay, so what's next? Obviously, this is something very much a part of you, and this is your I guess this is your motivation, your passion to keep doing what you're doing. Was there a conscious time though when you were aware of that from maybe from a very young age, that you're always kind of looking ahead?
That's true. I'm always trying to find something new, and to be honest, maybe it's related to that I really like to build something from the beginning. So I feel comfortable, for instance, in the companies which are not bigger than 100 employees, because whenever it's growing bigger, there are lots of different processes came to the company, and you can't really build something from the scratch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how it is. I mean.
So you prefer that kind of fairly intimate, if that's the word, working environment. Yeah. When you move into another kind of more corporate scale, that's something else. Yeah. You prefer that. Where you kind of know everybody and they're all kind of geographically normally quite close to you.
You are right. So I'm not saying that it's bad. I mean, working with corporate, but I'm saying it's much way different. I mean, I do really like the smaller environment when I can learn from my friends, my colleagues, my for employers, how to manage the company and how to do different things. So that's where I feel comfortable.
So as carried on from that theme, then obviously as you're the senior executive there, what kind of challenges do you kind of face, especially in these kind of turbulent times? What being responsible for all your people, what do you how do you kind of acknowledge that, and how do you deal with that?
So I think that the biggest challenge nowadays is to how to keep connection with them and how to keep relation with them, because I remember time that we spent a lot of time on coffee breaks and we talk each other, we know each other. Now it's much way harder to do it. When I think about employees and colleagues, I think that the most important part is how to secure them, and that's one of the biggest challenge that I have. It's also important to know how they feel with this loneliness and how they feel with the current situation, how they can motivate themselves to work, because there is no option to meet each other, to spend some time with each other. So I think that's the biggest challenge when I think about friends and my company and colleagues.
I think one of the interesting things that come out of this time and working from home and remotely is you've actually got to know more about the people that we're working with. Whether I always think it's quite funny when if the dog starts barking or the delivery guy turns up and they say, hang on a minute, I've just got to go and open the door, and it kind of brings a more personal dynamic to the relationship, doesn't it? Where if you're just in the workplace all the time. So I think that's a positive personally. So, and then going on, and you mentioned your health earlier. How do you take care of your physical and mental health now? And because I guess we're all kind of working on our PCs for a long time, many hours every day. Do you have any personal routines that you practice every day that, one either keeps you focused on work or also breaks you away from work?
For me, actually, I don't have something like the routines, because I got family and kids. I got 5 kids. I want to spend some time with them. So whenever I want to go out, go step back from the computer and want to rest, I'm trying to spend some time with them, because first of all, kids are best mentors and maybe best teachers how you should to run your time in the efficient way. So was the first thing, and second thing, it's really nice to spend some time and look how they are growing, and that's my routine, to be honest. So do not have something that can help me with my mental health nowadays, and I put everything into family. And it's enough for me right now.
Yeah. I had the question here, how do you let off steam and kind of decompress? And I think you said you got 5 children. I guess they're at different ages. I mean, that's like you said, you can't compartmentalize them or sort of book an appointment for certain things to happen, because it's just going to happen, isn't it? Whether it's at 4 a.m. or 4 p.m, people are people, aren't they? So I guess that brings a lot of variety and a lot of interest as well, isn't it, to the day?
Yeah. So when I said I like to spend time with them, it means that I also like to talk with them, and I also like to spend the time with them on their own way. So, for instance, if they have some passion, like one of my kids like bicycles, so I'm trying to spend some time with him. Another is like a lot of computer games, so I'm trying to talk about it. So that's something that when I can, for instance, talk with them and also, for instance, play with them, it makes me happy, and that's the moment when I can just relax. And that's how I that's how I work with this team.
Well, it's always refreshing to look at the world through younger people's eyes, isn't it? It's for particularly with younger children, it's stuff that they've seen for the first time, whatever it may be. It gives you an opportunity to go back and look at things that you probably stopped looking at, right? As an adult, isn't it? Yeah?
That's true. So I think that the most important thing for us is to find kid in ourselves, even if we are older. So I'm trying to learn it from my kids, and as I said, when they try new things, I also feel like I'm the part of it. So it's important for me.
That's the great thing about being a parent, isn't it?
Yes, you can still be big kid, even if you are 80. So it's good.
most definitely. Kind of carrying on from that, really. If from where you are today, what would you tell the 18-year-old self, or indeed anybody who's kind of 18 and wants to aspire to be a leader or an executive?
I think that the best advice that I can give is to find right people that can surround you, find right people that you can talk and you can build things together. So when I was younger, I started a lot of businesses that I started alone, and I think that is not the best way to do it, because you do not have partner that you can talk about all of the ups and downs during the business time. So first, definitely to find someone that you can that can support you all the time. And second, do not try to do everything on your own. So try to find people who can educate you, learn you, and teach you how to do different things. Do not try to reinvent the wheel every time, again and again. So trust people and try to do things together.
Trust and delegate. Yeah,
exactly.
I go with that one very much so. And then the last question, really. So, what are your personal hopes and dreams for the future?
So my personal hopes, I hope that everything will came back to the normal reality. So I know that it's impossible, but at least in some parts, I think it's really important. And my personal dreams is to spend more time in future with my family. I do really like to travel. I spent a few years with as a basketball player, so I would love to came back to it. But it's, when you run company, it's always hard to find the time. But it's important to do it. So my hopes to spend more time. Do not have any more issues with finding business partners. That's all, I think, to be honest.
No, that's good enough. I think there's plenty of things there to be optimistic about, isn't there? And of course, Eventory is going to grow, and that'll keep you occupied for the next few years, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I hope everything will be good. So it's with Eventory we are coming in a completely new stage. So we already opened new office but partnership in Japan. So it's completely new market. We're opening others. So it's crazy time. But as you said, optimistic, and I hope everything will be fine on the business side.
That sounds really, really exciting stuff coming up in the future. So I think that's a great place to finish. So Andrzej, thank you. It's been a real pleasure talking to you and sharing your story this afternoon. And I know that when we publish this, a lot of other people are going to be interested as well. So thank you very much indeed. And God bless and take care. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.